Ever seen the future of e-pimping, but make it legal?
You talk a lot about giving young, underrepresented, underprivileged people from the hood a chance. What could be a better example of giving somebody a chance than giving them a chance to my wife?
Finally happening.
You're looking at it. Ever wondered who could position himself to fill the personality void left in the adult industry by Playboy's very dead Hugh Hefner, thereby getting the wheels in motion for a potential exit strategy from a current business that may be giving this father more headaches than it's worth?
Terrifying moment as a popular podcaster is attacked at gunpoint.
My family's safety has been put on the line due to your actions.
You want to go right now?
Let's just start there.
Just a guess. You're looking at him. In the summer of 2023, the prolific hip-hop media mogul, Adam22, owner of the No Jumper media empire, blew up the internet when news spread that he would pay close attention to language here, his new wife, prawn star Lena the Plug, film a scene with another man soon after the couple got married.
There was like so much guilt, even though I knew that you had said yes, you'd given me your blessing. The cameraman's like, it's not cheating. He's just like trying to remind me.
And the man who would Adam22's wife on camera would be none other than the famous, quote, BBC prawn actor, Mr. Jason Luv. And the whole thing basically went viral before it even dropped on OnlyFans. But what I don't think anybody was ready for was the backlash.
People like hit me up like, what's up with your boy? He's a cuck.
I felt hurt.
This is weird.
I felt hurt for what I thought marriage was.
You guys have been women on camera for so long. One comes out of left field and it's like all of a sudden they just act like you guys aren't sex workers.
I don't care if it's for money. I don't care if it's for lust. This shit is not cool with me. It's one of the most disgusting acts I've ever seen on the motherfucking internet.
We'll get to that. According to data released by Pornhub, in the 2 weeks leading up to the premiere, the buzz surrounding the scene drove traffic searches up 2,010% for Lena the Plug, 4,068% for Adam22, and 1,440% for Jason Luv. And when the scene was finally released to the public, it was a hit. According to the couple, not only was this the best-selling scene on OnlyFans ever and made Lena the Plug the top earner on the platform in July of 2023, but it apparently also earned them buku money. Like, allegedly
7 figures, of course.
Maybe even 8.
8 figures?
I wouldn't want to take that leap. You never know, though.
In between? Like around the 5? That's a lot, dude.
There's no way for me to verify this, and people notoriously are losers and overinflate how much money they make to flex. I'll never forgive myself for catching on to the fact that Kylie Jenner's people lied about her being a billionaire to Forbes in my latest deep dive. But I'm learning. Anyways, they for sure made some coin, and we haven't even began to scratch the surface of all the potential money generated off the conversation and outrage leading up to and surrounding the scene.
He's sucking on one of the nuts. She licking one of the nuts like it's a dinosaur. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hip hop and conservative media as a whole, as you'll see in this video, they're basically the same thing. They share one very important thing in common. Very similar audiences ate very well that month, thanks to Lena and Adam's shenanigans. Did Adam approve of the pie?
That's not the usual way a scene goes. Usually there's a shot. And I would think in this particular situation, she's married, she has a kid, there would be a pullout.
Was it disrespectful to Adam that Lena got a shape up on her big hair for the scene?
What do you think about the snatch though? Like, you know what I mean? She got a little landing strip type shit, you know what I mean? Everybody know about the landing strip. You gotta get a landing strip popping.
It's kind of not like a true landing strip though. That bit kind of like,
yeah,
it's a shape up type shit.
Yeah, you need a shape up. You think it was disrespect? She ain't get a shape up?
Is this a modern day slave master relationship?
Don't allow them to delude you to believing that this is femininity. It is not femininity, Lena, to have your husband offer your body to another man on camera. That's the poisoning. They teach women that this is freedom, that this is sexual liberation. Yeah. I looked at that and I saw a slave relationship.
Yeah.
It's so disgusting. He offered you his wife.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to pretend like I'm better than anybody. The saying is, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. You want to know who my friends are? Night 1 of us getting a cottage over the holidays, borrowing a cottage, these degenerate, who I call my friends, almost got into a Real Housewives of New Jersey style fist fight. Okay? Say that shit one more time! Say that shit one more time! And me and the other girl, the two stoners, were like, The two that were fighting were on some other shit. Okay. But basically what I'm trying to say is the Lena and Adam story. This is my kind of train wreck. Okay. And I could not take my eyes off Cuckgate. And man, the backlash to this PR stunt came crashing down, okay, just as fast as the money allegedly did. But the focus of most of the internet vitriol in this case wasn't as much on the woman being a hoe, but rather on the man who let it happen. The musty ass sausage fest that is hip hop culture and media looked around, okay, and sensed a traitor! Oh my God! Traitor! In its midst. And just like that, Adam22 became Cuck22. Off with his head! It could have been devastating for business, especially given the loaded history and implications of being called a cuck.
As you guys know, a man named Jason Luv busted open like a can of biscuits right around the time the leaves changed brown.
But it wasn't. And it won't be. Because if there's one thing we know about Adam22, right when you think he's down, he finds a way to come back up! The word cuck comes from the bird species called the cuckoo. The female cuckoo has the reputation of being a bit of a trickster. She, if that's her desired pronoun. If it's not, I will gladly modify my vocabulary to make her comfortable. Oh my God! Is known to lay her eggs in the nests of other birds. And if that's not shady enough, there's also a catch-22. When her eggs hatch, her chick starts murdering the competition by pushing the other eggs over the edge of the nest and leaving the cuckoo's chick to be raised alone by the host bird. In other words, the host bird just got played into raising an imposter. And so it is said that in orchestrating this whole dance, the female cuckoo has succeeded in cuckoldry, and her victim is referred to as a cuckold. Today, a cuckold refers to a man whose wife has sex with other men, and it's defined by its interracially charged undertones. Most cuckold porn involves a white woman having intercourse with a black man. It's a complex fetish that deals with humiliation, some of which is rooted in plantation-era racism, submission, taboo, jealousy, biology. There's some sperm competition theory in there. In the polyamorous space, it's considered a bit of an eligibility fetish as well. But there's also like some compersion mixed into the pot. Some men are just genuinely happy seeing their wife getting pleasured by other men. It's not that deep.
The cuck thing is different because cucks are supposed to be weak and they want to be made to feel lesser. And I don't think that that's you. I think that there's like the more swinging side of things where it's like you are turned on by your wife enjoying someone and then she comes back to you and you guys enjoy your own personal experiences more with each other because she did that.
According to Pornhub data, cuckold videos are said to have risen in popularity around 2016. We'll see why in just a few minutes. And it's a genre that's popular mostly among men. Funny enough, academics have noticed that cuckold porn is often shot like gay porn. And so one of the many theories behind its popularity is that it's one of the many ways straight men play out their gay fantasies. In simpler terms, the only reason straight men are so obsessed with not appearing gay is because they are gay. Okay, you're all gay. And it pains me that your buttholes are always off limits. As a wise woman once said, you don't know what you're missing. As an insult, though, the cuckold slur has a long history that can be traced back all the way to the 13th century. As a shaming tactic, the insult can be thematically found in the works of Chaucer, Boccaccio, Shakespeare. It's literally one of the worst insults you can sling at a man, okay? It signals weakness, inadequacy, emasculation, being effeminate. The cuck is basically the antithesis to patriarchal dominance. The idea is, quote, that a man that has failed in dominating and controlling his woman is a failure in the eyes of other men, end quote. I'm gonna cite the person who I just quoted on screen. The obsession, okay, because it's an obsession. You're obsessed, you're all obsessed with not being viewed as a cuck, runs so damn deep that in the 17th century, apparently, one of the most common types of defamation cases revolved around whether or not a man was really a cuck and a woman a whore. The cuckold, according to my research, was such a disgrace that sometimes in a local parade called the Skimmington, he was captured, placed backwards on a horse, and beaten by women. Ain't nothing but a gangster party. However, the slur as we know it today, online, reportedly reemerged in the early 2010s in the dark corners of the internet. It is said to have initially found popularity amongst the incel community, and then again in 2014 during the Gamergate saga. Gamergate was a misogynistic and some say right-wing hate/harassment campaign against feminism, diversity, and progressivism in the video game industry. Loser shit, okay? And then, funny enough, the term seeped into the mainstream during the 2016 presidential election, in no small part thanks to the alt-right movement. If you're unfamiliar with the alt-right, I've linked some resources below. In a nutshell, the alt-right was a movement/hodgepodge of people, intellectuals, internet trolls, Nazis, who shared and or peddled the belief that white identity is under attack by progressive and multicultural forces who are trying to undermine Western European civilization. Race and racism is at the core of alt-right ideologies, and so is misogyny. All people are not created equal in the eyes of the alt-right. Some are inherently superior, and so we need to keep them separate, because if we start mixing, everything will be brought to the lowest common denominator. And as far as I know, doesn't the science show the exact opposite? The more diverse the gene pool, the smarter and stronger the individual. Anyways, funny enough, everything is funny in this story. One of the daddies of the alt-right is a man called Richard Spencer. And it would be this very individual who would later contribute to the corporate turmoil, which set the scene for Adam22's Cuckgate years later. So, a common insult amongst the alt-right during its heyday was calling conservatives that were too vanilla for its bigoted causes cuckservatives. The alt-right fizzled out in and around and after Charlottesville. But the movement is said to have been successful insofar as some of its ideas were successfully laundered into the conservative mainstream, thanks to people like Milo Yiannopoulos, who, funny enough, I discovered Adam22 has some history with, which is very relevant, okay? Because as I said, if there's one thing mainstream conservatism has in common with hip-hop culture, it's not only shared values, bros over hoes, money over everything, if you're broke, it's your fault, but similar audience inclinations. We'll get to that. So to me, the cuck slur being so popular online and then used against Adam22 not only is proof of the lasting legacy of the alt-right, but also exposes the true nature of the type of audiences hip-hop media tends to cultivate. One writer described it as a right-wing impulse. And so it's hilarious to me how in Cuckgate, it all came full circle.
Trying to take that away from her.
Frank's right. Frank's right.
The conspiracy is, and it's not even a conspiracy because these are facts, the rise of the alt-right coincides with the rise of Adam22 and No Jumper, and a couple years later, it would be platforming these very kind of losers that would come to bite him in the ass, adding fuel to a bunch of turmoil that would lead to Cuckgate. And I would love for you to ask yourself why, by simultaneously thinking of the economic concept of supply and demand alongside the concepts of market segmentation and psychographics. Here's a cue card. According to a press release published by one of No Jumper's sponsors, the company Mangoceuticals Inc., the No Jumper audience is 90% male, and 93% of that audience is 18 to 45 years old in age. Guess what kind of product Mangoceuticals Inc. sells? Erectile dysfunction pills. So, if your online influence is contingent on a bunch of potentially right-wing, leaning, underperforming erectile dysfunctioned males putting you up on a pedestal, maintaining dominant alpha male appearances, likely of paramount importance. Being branded a cuck? Huge problem. This is what leads me to believe that Cuckgate may have been truly a case study in a creator's own audience turning against them as they saw their worst insecurities/fears materialize.
Imagine if a with a 20-inch and she says, right there, forever and eternity. You know what I would be thinking? Could I hit that spot? Maybe it's a spot you can't reach.
In the days following the Cuck scandal, Adam and Lena had to put in some serious work to make sure Adam's masculinity stayed intact. And I have to say, the way these two started to PR spin the whole thing in their favor is a Masterpiece, okay? A motivational story about pivoting and turning adversity into strength. These two, as a team, husband and wife, Bonnie and Clyde, have started reframing Adam's decisions as not those of a weak cuck, but rather the power moves of the more socially acceptable street hero within hip-hop culture that is the pimp. It's brilliant. And I think the strategy, especially given where Adam22 might be bringing his brand to next, can be extremely successful. From my perspective, it already has been. Adam and Lena have continued to ride the wave of outrage into a whole ass self-produced reality show called For the Love of Lena that recently ended.
And the person who's gonna f my wife is...
The premise of the show was literally to find the next man who will f Adam's wife. Spoiler alert, the winner was Little D. This excellent piece of reality television, highly recommended, got similar amounts of views as when he controversially tried to dabble into the debate bro space, more views than a lot of his other shit these days, and it's the kind of content that instead of getting him murdered, brings nothing but joy to the world. No Jumper and all the drama that comes with it, on its way out. Adam22's E-pimping empire, I think, on its way in. There's a saying in social media marketing that if you're not paying for the digital applications you're using and literally spending your life living through, you are the product. But I feel like people still have a hard time visualizing what that looks like. Allow me to introduce you to the story of Adam22's Cuckgate. You're watching it. The cost of your attention and engagement on social media means that over time, creators and anybody with a platform that gets enough traffic have all the data they need to identify your vulnerabilities, make you sick with rage for the lulz, and then sell you the antidote. It's digital finessing / trolling 101. It's literally the Trump playbook, and the game in this case was so damn slick. I just had to make a video about it.
Everyone just kind of like willfully ignores the fact that we do and are, let's be honest, clearly trolling / hamming it up to get as much media attention as possible on Plug Talk, right?
Which worked.
Yeah.
It's finally happening.
So without further ado, this is the look today. The inspiration was kind of like winter wonderland vibes, New Year's vibes. The earmuffs are from House of Amazon. Dress is from, it's an old dress from Doll's Kill. The little kitten heels, you've seen these before. These little kitten heels are from an estate sale. So they're vintage. And I don't have a purse today, okay? I put enough effort into the makeup and into the set design. You don't get a purse. Oh, and the makeup. I need to show you the makeup. I'm gonna give you a close-up of the makeup. The makeup was inspired by, I was trying to do some kind of manga thing, and I've been watching Game of Thrones, so it's kind of like manga meets like dragon. Oh, I forgot. It's really all about the manicure. It's really about the nails. It's like a frosty, I wish I could show you my feet too. It's like a frosty thing. I'll be taking these off very soon. While I've been in my boy era as a bisexual female, I'm ready to enter my women era. And these right here, dangerous. Very dangerous. So we're gonna start with a breakdown of who Adam22 and Lena the Plug are. We'll move on to a full timeline of Cuckgate and how they started to shift the narrative in Adam's favor. We'll talk about the very interesting timing of the stunt and how it paralleled some intense turmoil happening at No Jumper, and how the backlash might have just been a blessing in disguise, and pave the way for where we'll see Adam22 take his business to next. E-pimpdom riches. Adam22, also known as Adam Grand Maison. I wonder if he's ever done a ancestry DNA quiz thing, because that sounds really French Canadian. Adam is a businessman and a media personality originally from Nashua, New Hampshire, and is now based in Los Angeles, California. Counterculture and shit are what I would say defined Adam22's youth growing up. Early in life, he was into graffiti, hip hop, the punk scene, the BMX world, selling weed, fighting, credit card scamming, chronicling his exploits on blogs and forums. But unlike many people who've taken this kind of route in life, instead of landing him in prison long term, he's been able to merge his love of counterculture and shit into some pretty successful entrepreneurial endeavors. And he's done it more than once. As he told Rolling Stone magazine, the man has never really had a job as an adult, and he's been able to support himself financially without a college education off the back of his own projects, hustles, and businesses. We can debate all day about the ethics of how he's gone about doing that, but that right there is a major flex and is key to understanding his popularity. Adam22 represents someone who's been able to achieve freedom, independence, hella and all of the material things in a world where if you're a working class male who's not college educated, that's pretty difficult to achieve without landing up in prison or selling your soul to a corporation. So in many ways, Adam22 was an aspirational figure until recently, but he'll get back there. I have faith. He started making his money with online poker and eventually at some point saw a gap in the digital media market of the BMX world, and he used the funds from that hustle to start a blog called The Come Up. I think this is sometime around 2008. That's what I was able to find. The blog was around for about a decade, and this is where he started developing his chops for content creation and social media marketing. Quote,
"Every day, get up, write these blog posts, and try to pick the best thumbnail possible for shareability, put it up on Facebook, put it up on Twitter, chop up the best clips from a video to put on Instagram to get more people to look at it." And this was like 2008, so this was before this model even became established. Now, that's what anybody who works in media is basically doing every day, end quote.
After a while, he started getting a little antsy and he was ready for the next project, and this is when a man called George Potter would be put on his path. Adam and George were both self-described rap Tumblr guys, and they would connect around 2010. They both have their own side of the story, and it didn't end well for George. So whose idea was No Jumper really? I don't know. Like many DIY projects / businesses, the whole thing was done informally, no paperwork, no contracts. All you got is the other person's word. So the story surrounding the founding of No Jumper, like a lot of the shit haunting Adam, is a bit of a he said, she said. So someone had the idea to create a blog that would cover more niche underground artists that weren't getting mainstream media attention. The types of artists that these two were engaging with in this little Tumblr ecosystem. For those unfamiliar, before SoundCloud, Tumblr was where underground alternative rap talent became popular and where the fandom congregated. This is where acts like Lil B, Odd Future, and A$AP Rocky came up. So No Jumper started off as a hip-hop / rap Tumblr blog in 2011. It was financed by Adam22. He owned the domain, he owned the hosting, he owned the URL. George Potter and some other contributors wrote the content. In the short time that the Tumblr blog was around, it seems like they did some pretty cool things. They interviewed early pioneers like Clams Casino, reviewed Gucci Man tapes, they got onto Future before he blew up, and it seems like Danny Brown was an early fan, and so was A$AP Yams. George Potter was notably not paid for his services. It was understood that he would only get paid once the blog started making money, but it never got to that point because the whole thing fizzled out about a year later in 2012. Both him and Adam kind of lost interest in the project and they drifted into other things. Until 2015. In 2015, Adam would come knocking on George Potter's door, and this is where their stories once again differ. George says that Adam hit him up saying that he wanted to start a podcast that interviewed BMX riders and that he wanted to use the No Jumper name. According to George, it wasn't supposed to be a music thing, and that's why he agreed, because music was George's thing. Adam's story is that he told George straight up that he wanted to start a podcast that interviewed rappers, streetwear brands, etc. According to Adam, the fact that he even hit up George in the first place was proof that he was operating in good faith. He didn't even need to ask for permission. He was just being polite. After all, Adam owned the domain, the URL, the hosting, had financed the whole thing, and there was no paperwork. No Jumper blows the f*** up, and George Potter is left feeling salty as f*** about the whole thing. It starts a big ass beef that leaves George being like, "Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame, Adam," and Adam being like, "Just watch, it's gonna last forever." And it did. While it is unfortunate that George didn't get anything for his contributions, this is why motherfuckers need to sign contracts. As far as I'm concerned, a name doesn't make a brand, and a couple of months of blogging aren't responsible for the No Jumper we know today. Adam and whoever he collaborated with since then built that shit. And what a digital media empire they built. No Jumper started off very DIY. Adam had a store called On Some Shit in LA where he sold BMX and hip hop stuff. And he started filming the podcast in the back room. He had one vision for the podcast, but pivoted when he noticed that interviewing rappers did well for him. And he obviously had a knack for finding talent before they blew up and playing the clout game.
As soon as I did that one piece of content with a rapper, I just kind of realized like, oh, I'm around a lot of people that are not really being heard right now, but their music videos might get a couple million views. If I interview those guys, it'll probably do pretty good. I started to do that. I started interviewing, YouTubers and comedians and stars, and just really felt like if I kept going and if I kept grinding it out and just really trying to get better and kind of climbing this like social ladder that previously I felt like I had no access to, because in the BMX world, again, nobody cares. Like nothing you could do in that world is gonna really make anybody pay attention to you, and then all of a sudden I have my foot in the door and I'm just kind of doing everything I can to get all these different interviews done. And that's basically been like the last 6 years of my life or so that I've just been trying to make it work.
This eye and ear for talent earned him a lot of respect, recognition, and some virality. This man was on to XXXTentacion, Xavier Wolf, Lil Yachty, Lil Peep, Puya, Suicide Boys, Tekashi 6ix9ine, Juice WRLD, all before they popped off. I'm a big fan of Suicide Boys. I mean, a fan. I listen to their shit. And this is why I will never buy this argument that Adam22 isn't really about the culture and doesn't really love it. The only way for someone to really be on some shit before it pops off is to have their ear to the ground. And I don't see how someone can consistently do that if there's not genuine interest and passion there. Adam has since expanded beyond interviews with up-and-coming rappers, which is where a lot of the drama and criticisms around him and his platform start coming in. We'll talk about that later. But overall, what you need to know is that the No Jumper vibe is very much boy-centric, heavily danked locker room talk, which is what makes it so popular, but also so annoying to people like me and the social causes I believe in, okay? It tends to cultivate the kind of audience that as a female makes me feel kind of unsafe. It's really giving walking into the kind of party where someone might slip HB into my drink and then proceed, best case scenario, to share photos of my unconscious body around the internet. But of course, boys will be boys, and I was asking for trouble being at that party in the first place. Today, No Jumper is primarily a YouTube channel with a ton of different types of programming. They have around 12 million followers across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. According to the Mangoceuticals press release, the No Jumper podcast gets between 100 and 150,000 downloads. The channel gets like 20 million monthly views. How do they make money? Well, the digital media model on YouTube tends to be ad revenue, merch, memberships, subscriptions, and sponsorship deals. Now, what does that mean exactly from a dollars and cents perspective? It's hard to know exactly, okay? There's this whole narrative floating around that No Jumper doesn't actually make money, and it's Adam's other endeavors, notably the prawn, we'll get to that pay for No Jumper because it has so much overhead. But this theory seemed to have been debunked by AD, one of the No Jumper defectors. We'll talk about him later. He seemed to indicate in a podcast that they make most of their bread off sponsorship deals.
So we reading, almost every episode, you would see me doing ad reads. Some of them ads would be 10 grand. Some of them ads would be 15 grand.
And then the Fashion Nova at the beginning, that's a bad.
Yeah, if you sit there and just say YouTube, you lose money on YouTube, but not when you got an ad for a show. That show may have made, without ads, a couple of $100, but you chop that show into 20, 30 clips, and then you take them clips and you put them on Facebook, them clips and you put them on Instagram
and on TikTok.
It's all chopped up, and you can make it some real bread on them.
Adam, in a 2022 interview, said something like $1 million a month. So, ballpark.
What does the whole brand make in a month or in a year?
No Jumper might bring in $1 million a month. A big part of it's Patreon. We have a Patreon that does 6 figures a month. Facebook has been insane. We're making a couple $100,000 a month on Facebook.
Wow. So how many people do you have employed?
Maybe like 10 in-house, and then we have a bunch of freelance people and a bunch of people that we kind of pay to do stuff. Could be like 15.
Also, something to note is that while Adam has been building up the No Jumper brand for a while, it seems like financially things really popped off for them in 2020. This is right around the time the new cast/co-host who would later defect on him as a result of counterculture and shit joined the crew. Since then, like a real entrepreneur, he started to diversify his income streams. And the one he seems the most excited about is precisely the one which would set the scene for Cuckgate. His dabbling into pornography and legal e-pimping alongside his beautiful wife, Lena the Plug. Lena the Plug and Plug Talk. Lena the Plug is a bit more of a mysterious figure. You can't find splashy profiles on her like you can on Adam, but this is what I was able to dig up. Lena the Plug, also known as Lena Narcessian, is an Armenian-American adult film actress from Glendale, California. She's in her early 30s. She apparently attended the University of California where she studied psychology. I don't know if she graduated. She's worked odd jobs as a nanny, Uber driver, and I don't know what at an influencer marketing agency. And at some point, she discovered the adult content creation world. Around the same time Adam22 rebooted No Jumper in 2015, Lena had started gaining a following on Snapchat by creating and selling racy content. Around 2016, Lena DM'd Adam on social media for some work-related inquiry. She was doing podcast outreach, and Adam decided to invite her out to drinks. The rest is history. The two started dating in 2016. This is Lena's second relationship. Prior to Adam22, she was in a relationship for 4 years with a woman. Lena describes herself as bisexual, gang, but leaning more straight. So she was given the name Lena the Plug by some coworkers because she did her job so well that she was the plug or the hookup if you wanted your shit handled. So relevant to Cuckgate, PR stunts involving sexually charged topics and pornography has been part of this couple's shtick from the very beginning. Right around the time they started dating, Lena also started a YouTube channel, and in collaboration with Adam, they began making provocative content. Lena went viral on YouTube early on thanks to a video called I Let My Best Friend Have Sex With My Boyfriend, which today has 22 million views. In 2017, she also promised to make a tape with Adam if she hit 1 million subs on YouTube. Today, she has 1.6 million subs. I don't know if they ever released that tape. Let me know down in the comments if you know this. But most importantly, Lena the Plug was an adult film star in her own right before Adam22 seriously got into the game himself. According to Pornhub, she's been active on their website since 2016, and in 2018 she had won the Celebrity of the Year at the 2018 Pornhub Awards. She also has an OnlyFans account which seems popular. She apparently did very well for herself in 2020 while she was pregnant and continued to film scenes. It's a niche, baby. You can't knock the hustle. And the Jason Luv scene, which we'll talk about, was notably released exclusively on her OnlyFans. Eventually, Adam22 decided to get in on the cash cow, and together as a joint venture, they're 50-50 on it. They would start their OnlyFans podcast and soon to be vibrant adult media empire, the Plug Talk universe, where they interview women and proceed to have intercourse with them. And they also manage some OnlyFans models.
Right before the pandemic, there's this guy Vitaly, YouTuber.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And he had a site called Vitaly Uncensored.
Yep.
And the team behind that, they were reaching out to me because they wanted me to do my own version of it. They wanted us to do something that was a podcast where the girls took their boobs out at some point. Me and my girl just kept talking about it, and I was like, A, I don't think we need this company, and B, I think we need the girls after we interview them. Because otherwise it's just fake. Like otherwise somebody else is going to do that. And it's like, why wouldn't we just take it to the logical extreme? I was just like, we could just do this.
So that's the story of how Plug Talk started. And this sets the stage for why Lena's cuck scene was such a gag. Okay, this couple must have done hundreds of threesomes at this point, but it's only ever been with other women, and the only man Lena in all of her career has ever filmed a scene with is Adam. In fact, the only man she's ever had intercourse with in the last 7 years period was Adam. Until Jason Luv came knocking at the door with a cuck pot of gold and drama, the cuck arc. So the seeds for this business move and Adam's cuck arc seem to have been swimming in jizz for a long time before Jason Luv came into the picture. Lena has been an adult star for a while, and a heavily requested scene by her audience had been her filming a scene with another man, other than Adam, specifically a BBC scene. BBC, for those uninitiated, stands for Big Black. It's a genre. And the stars would eventually align in January of 2023 when Adam and Lena attended some kind of Prawn Star Awards in Las Vegas, bumped into Jason Luv. The whole thing was caught on camera, and the resulting clip went viral.
Let's do something. Who's the hottest girl here?
Your wife.
Here, right now?
Blacked. Jason Luv became the obvious choice. So the clip was flooded with people asking them to do a scene, and Lena, being a businesswoman herself, was like, well, if that's what the people want, I'm gonna deliver it.
Obviously, like, he's attractive, he's a good performer, he has a great physique and everything, but like, we were like, who would make sense for my first scene to be with, because we wanted it to be big. And obviously everyone's like latching onto the fact that he's black, like, and my audience has never seen me with a black guy, so that made it an even bigger deal. But yeah, it was really a business decision. It was really a business decision.
Obviously, she had to get Adam22 on board first, but for whatever combination of reasons, which probably include Adam22 seeing that there was a clear demand for this, we'll talk a bit more about the timing surrounding the scene later on, they came to an agreement. So Lena hit Jason up in May, right before she was to be married, and was like, hey, I'm gonna get married and go on my honeymoon, but when I come back, we should shoot. And Jason was down. And when she got back, they got straight to business.
Walked away, I was like, I think I'm gonna shoot with Jason tomorrow, and you were like, okay. And I walked away, went to wash the dishes or something, and then I come back and you're just like, no facial, no kissing. Okay, that was like the extent of the conversation.
Right.
So basically, Lena and Adam have this beautiful fairy tale wedding in Italy, and right when Adam is supposed to have secured Lena as his property for all of eternity, thereby ensuring the continued succession of patriarchal dominance, he just goes ahead and throws the sanctity of the whole thing to the wolves.
Adam, you got some psychological shit going on, bro.
May the best man win.
And the internet was not having it. The male rage was fucking real, okay? And so was the virality of what was about to happen. They both talk about how they knew it would be popular, but they had no idea it would be this popular. And I guess that while we're at it, they probably knew that there would be some backlash, but I don't think anybody anticipated Cuck.
I vehemently stand against this. I gotta clown this. I gotta show people that this ain't what you should do with your woman.
That this ain't what you should do with your woman.
The backlash and criticism to this business move came crashing in the minute they started promoting the upcoming scene on social media, and a clear theme prevailed. Adam22 was a big fat cuck.
Oh, Adam, she's not acting. She getting hit different.
She's supposed to enjoy it. I'm not trying to take that away from her.
Freight's right. Freight's right.
It's officially been a week since I let my wife do prawn with another guy. I felt a little jealous at first, but overall, it wasn't that big of a deal. She's watched me sleep with hundreds of girls, and it's never affected our relationship. Sleeping with that gentleman has been amazing for both her career and our business Plug Talk show. Overall, I'm glad we did it, and I'm happy to report that her vagine has returned to its original size. The comment section, cuck. Lena teases the scene on Instagram. Babe just gave me my wedding gift. What do you think he'll get me for our anniversary? The comment section, cuck. Adam goes, could have got you a Birkin. Instead, I got you a scrotum. Cuck. What a mess of a marriage. Cuck. Stop calling him your husband. You're married to a legit cuck. A man would never allow another man to touch his wife. You and others like you are destroying society. She ain't the plug, she the whole outlet. In the lead up to the scene dropping, Lena and Adam also got on some streams hosted by Adam Ross that would generate some viral clips that would only fan the flames of Cuckgate. Notably, Adam would ask Lena which she preferred, and her answer didn't do Adam any favors.
I did enjoy Jason's new. Everything not new is interesting and fun.
You made him leave. Look at that.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to catch a breath. So wait, did you choose Jason over your husband?
This also starts this whole narrative that Lena prefers Jason's to Adam's.
I have had with one person for 7 years, and although Adam is very exciting to me, like a new experience is always going to be a little more interesting and different, and Adam could attest to that. Like, so I had fun with Jason, but I still have a lot of fun with my partner, and I don't prefer Jason's over Adam.
The comment section was like, Adam about to cry. Adam has no self-respect. Damn, you would have thought she would have said she prefers Adam's. Help him with his self-esteem and confidence, but she couldn't even give a direct answer. She hit us with, I did enjoy the BBC, but I've been with my husband for so long that I don't prefer anything over my husband. Adam is doomed. Now this is where we start to see their soon-to-be cuck riches early on turning into cuck damage control. And before the scene drops, Adam has no choice but to start defending himself. At first, he tries to make it about the feminist plight and him being an ally. Wrong crowd. He goes, shout out to all my confident, independent brothers out there supporting their wife's career. Wrong crowd. But Lena would swoop in with the beginning of a much better angle. In a clip of Lena responding to the simp backlash to TMZ, Lena slips in a very important nugget of information. Run the clip.
I have had 200 threesomes with him with women.
Yeah.
So is that a simp? Like someone who's been given all of this, I don't know, experience with this woman, and then I get one guy and it's like a big deal?
Yeah. Is that sexist?
Yeah, the double standard's insane.
I mean, I do feel like you have slept with him with lots of other girls. How come there wasn't another guy involved?
I would say up until very recently, it was something that Adam was not comfortable with, and I was always like, I don't want to affect my relationship, and I'm not going to push the issue.
You see what she did there? Adam's not weak. Adam's not a cuck. He's not getting dominated by a woman. In fact, he's the boss. And he's the one that gets to control who she shoots with and how.
No facial, no kissing.
It's been a series of discussions because definitely, like, you know, we have stuff that we want to do. Like, we definitely want to do a plug talk scene that's like me, her, and another guy. But in terms of like the frequency with which she might be shooting with other guys, that's kind of up in the air.
And we don't want to do anything like too fast because it's like still new for us, this part of our relationship, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like we're just having a lot of conversations every step of the way. And it's all up to Adam's comfort levels.
We'll see why this is so smart in just a second. But first, the scene needs to drop. On the 13th of July of 2023, I think that's when the scene dropped, the content was finally released and shit goes viral. Reiterating the Hub data, searches for Lena, Jason, and Adam skyrocketed in the 2 weeks leading up to the scene. Searches for Lena, Jason, and Adam blow up as a whole on Google between July 6th and July 15th. There was a steady drop-off once the scene was released, but they literally held the internet's attention hostage for a good few weeks. The entire internet was talking about this, and it created some of the best reaction content I've ever seen in my life, okay? People like DJ Academics would round his audience up around like a virtual digital campfire for a play-by-play of the scene, and yo.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Steady strokes. He's giving her, like, right now she's getting traded about 12 to 18 inches, okay? He's mixing it up. Couple mid strokes, couple short strokes, then a couple deep strokes to get her right. Please, oh my God! What'd she say? She said, please me, no!
Honestly, DJ Academics gets the grand prize for the best reaction content coming out of Cuckgate, okay? But primarily it's because he was so skilled at communicating the root of the disgust and paranoia surrounding the move.
Imagine if you're with a 20-inch and she says, right there. Forever and eternity. You know what I would be thinking? Could I hit that spot? Maybe it's a spot you can't reach. That's the worst part.
But what goes up must come down. And Jason Luv would come out of left field and virtually sucker punch Adam22 and literally crystallize the paranoia. Upon doing some promo for the scene, Jason Luv would be interviewed by this podcast called The Fan Bus and literally violate one of the most important core tenets of the bro code. If I do give you consent to pork my wife, you can't brag about how you hit it better.
Do you think that you f***ed her better than Adam did?
Well, obviously, yes. But I'm pretty sure he probably felt different with Adam for her because love is involved emotions. But as for the physical aspect of getting obviously.
Like, how the hell is a man supposed to save the last remnants of his masculinity in the eyes of society if the man who f***ed his wife is out here being like, I'm the stronger fighter? So Adam22 had no choice but to come forward and defend his honor, and shit got nasty. I can't play the clip because there's music, but basically this is what happened.
Adam goes, hey Jason, I trusted you to my wife, and it seems like that cloud is getting to your head. I'm talking real spicy, and I ain't really feeling it. The angle of the dangle is more important than the cubit of the pubic. Number 2, my game when I'm serving it, man. It's just like your mom's home cooking because there's a special ingredient. It's called love. You ever heard of it?
And then shit gets nasty. He warned.
Don't make me expose you, and you know what I'm talking about. It could get real messy out here. You don't want problems moving around these LA streets, because I can make that happen. I'm very well connected.
And he concluded with,
you're officially blacklisted from smashing my wife again. Duh.
Is he
clout chasing a little?
I think he clout chasing a little bit, but he also just like, he's getting criticism because people are saying that that he was putting down was mid and everything. So now I feel like he got to try to like outwork himself or prove himself by trying to, but don't throw me in there.
He's coming at you. Like,
I'm the reason you have this opportunity in the first place. Wasn't nobody trying to have you in their van doing a interview or whatever the hell it was before this. It's not necessarily a fair comparison when he's working with something that's, you know, probably like 2 inches longer and an extra inch in diameter. But I do know that, you know, I've been beating my girl's doonies down ever since the situation happened, just trying to prove myself and putting that work in. So, you know, whatever I was putting down in the past, it's only improving, and I might even invest in a pump or something. You know,
so
I'm crazy.
This is taking you in a positive direction, bro.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's been nothing but positive around our house.
The angle of the dangle is more important than the cubit of the pubic. That shit's genius. Adam, if the prawn thing doesn't work out, I think you've got a career as a rap ghostwriter. So from this point on, everything's a bit of a free-for-all. The footballer Antonio Brown tries to get in line and hit it. Adam isn't really feeling it. He doesn't have enough clout. Andrew Tate would be a much better option. Or Adam Ross.
Would you double bro? Would you do that, Andrew? Go ahead, finish the answer.
All pop together, is that chill?
There's absolutely 0% chance of that happening. And it's not because Lena is particularly unattractive. It's because she's married to Adam, and I have no interest in degenerate, pointless sex, and I have no interest in making a spectacle of myself or even just involving myself in anything which I deem to be overall haram.
Candace Owens hops on the bandwagon. She disparages Lena and Adam's marriage as like a slave master relationship. Andrew Tate weighs in. He accuses Adam of being a victim of the Matrix.
Don't allow them to delude you to believing that this is femininity. It is not femininity, Lena, to have your husband offer your body to another man on camera. That's the poisoning. They teach women that this is sexual freedom, that this is sexual liberation. I looked at that and I saw a slave relationship.
It shows how degenerate the world is becoming. And pornography as a whole is simply just, I think, a tool which is used to ensure that the male populace stays as docile as possible. I don't think that any of the things that are happening to the male population are accidental. I think that keeping us as docile as possible is very interesting for the people who are in charge of the world because we're the warrior class. At the end of the day, it's going to boil down to the men who are going to stand up and actually do something about anything at some point in time.
Every minutia of what happened, how it happened, and how they feel about it is analyzed and transformed into monetizable content for everyone. You get a clip, you get a clip, you get a clip. This is why, even though a lot of the conversation around Cuckgate is critical of Adam22, I honestly think it all just constitutes, in the long game, nothing but a minor setback. Remember earlier on, I was talking about how Lena started countering this cuck narrative by in part making the key point that Adam is the one who's in control of what males she gets to sleep with. In an interview with TMZ shortly after the scene dropped, Adam is asked how he feels about the backlash, and he is sure to highlight a few other key points. These two are laughing all the way to the bank.
It's like we had a number in mind that we thought that it might make. Now at this point, we're like 50 times that.
And do you know what society values more than controlling women? Making money. And these two have made sure to signal to the public that at this point in time, Adam22 is doing both.
Are you in? Are you in the pie?
Plug Talk has benefited, and so has No Jumper.
Right, of
so
course.
I feel like we've both benefited, yes.
I've definitely made quite a few six-figure sums that I was not expecting. Just from the sheer level of attention that it's been getting in general, honestly. Yeah.
So Plug Talk's going crazy, that page, right?
Plug Talk easily doubled.
And from a PR standpoint, this to me is where you can see them start reframing the narrative away from symptom towards something a little closer to pimpdom. And if you thought Cuckgate was a cash cow, Pimpdom could not only restore Adam's honor, but bring him financially to a whole new level and be the perfect exit strategy from a way too dramatic No Jumper. The Pimp, interchangeable with the Mac, is a character archetype and aesthetic that has a long history within hip-hop culture. It became popular in 1980s California via the gangster rap genre. It's a persona that rappers adopt and or transit in and out of. Some early pioneers of the pimp aesthetic are rappers like Too Short and Ice-T. As a character / persona. No. I can't. I'm already too deep into the video. I'm not gonna. A star has fallen. Okay, the other ones are secure. Whatever. As a character and persona, the pimp is considered to be a persuader and a bit of a trickster. Learned this doing research. This is why we say the pimp tricks the prostitute. Historically, the pimp has often been compared to the monkey, insofar as he is known to use manipulation to get what he wants. Obviously, this has very negative connotations, but the pimp, nonetheless, has traditionally been an aspirational figure, an icon of upward mobility, a street hero, and a subcultural aristocrat of sorts, especially among a very specific demographic, working class black males. This is as a result of a couple different things. A, the pimp is considered to be an example of brain over brawn. Unlike many people trapped in the cycle of poverty and discrimination, he doesn't need to use violence theoretically to acquire resources. He can do so off verbal skill alone. Anybody familiar with actual pimping knows that's not true, but you get the idea. And B, he's also an example of hypermasculinity. This is a character who asserts sexual dominance over females. The rise of pimp culture is said to have been a reaction in part to cultural changes happening in the 80s that led to a lot of frustration amongst blue-collar men. Shifting gender roles, diminishing job opportunities. Sounds a lot like 2024, doesn't it? The interesting thing about the pimp, and I'm citing, quoting, paraphrasing extensively from one very specific research paper I read, okay, is that he tends to draw attention to his methods, which to the researcher in question indicates many things, including a celebration of manipulative conduct, but more relevantly, quote, dissident philosophical intent. In other words, the pimp is a bit of a deviant. Many people would not want their brands associated with that, unless you're already a bit of a deviant. To me, if you've already been making deals with the devil and you're highly skilled in the arena of identity construction, which Adam22 clearly is, this could be the move. Not only does this allow him to position himself to fill the personality void left in the mainstream by a very dead Hugh Hefner, but he can reap all the street cred benefits of pimping without even breaking the law. Today, companies that manage OnlyFans models, this is what we refer to as E-pimping, are making a killing. It's an infinitely scalable business model. The videos and photos these women sell for money are endlessly reproducible, and management companies have been known to take up to 70% of gross profits. In an interview with Ice Time Coffee Hour, Adam22 talked about how in 2022, Plug Talk was basically earning him close to $1 million a month, and compared to No Jumper, he could run that business basically with one employee alone. He could literally run the Plug Talk universe either by himself or by outsourcing the work to cheap remote English-speaking labor abroad, okay? It's a literal capitalist wet dream. And the grounds for the rebranding of Adam22 as Pimp Daddy Supreme, as far as I'm concerned, has already been in the works. And you've seen him start to lean into this persona with the couple's reality show For the Love of Lena.
And the person who's gonna my wife is Lil D.
This is why I think continuing to lean into this archetype is the answer not only to Cuckgate, but especially to the evil eye that's been following Adam around at No Jumper, all of which came to a head right before the cuck scene was approved.
We have a lot more in common than we have separating us, because believe it or not, the Matrix has been out to get me too. So
has it? Tell me how.
Bro, they've been trying to cancel me for years, all kinds of made up sexual assault bullshit and everything under the sun. The same exact playbook that they've been using to try to take you out the game. So you may disagree with some of our sexual proclivities, but believe me and Andrew Tate, we're victims of the same struggle.
Turmoil at No Jumper and Adam's curse. Allegations of generalized let's just call it that, have been haunting Adam22 seemingly since the dawn of the internet. I literally stumbled across a random Reddit promo post Adam allegedly wrote 10 years ago before he started No Jumper, and someone in the comment section was like, "This dude is an insufferable loser. He used to allegedly humiliate his partners on various forums, and judging by his YouTube videos, he hasn't changed in the last decade. Oh, and this ugly turd can't actually ride, so I have no clue why he's such an icon." These allegations, which I'll touch on briefly, always seem to resurface and or be added on to either when his public profile is high because he's doing well for himself, or when his public profile is high because he's receiving a ton of backlash for shit, okay, happening at No Jumper. This is what leads me to believe that the evil eye has been cast upon this man, okay? But I also believe in the concept of cycles and patterns. If negativity keeps coming my way, I'd likely start doing some serious introspection and start asking myself how I might be feeding into that. Assuming Adam22 is innocent of everything, none of these allegations have been given due process, what kind of snakes and dark-ass people are you letting into your circle, Adam, that this is the kind of energy they're bringing to your life, man? I feel like it's time to gatekeep the vibes just a little better. In July 2017, Adam's star started to rise. He gets a splashy feature in Rolling Stone magazine called Meet Adam22, Underground Hip Hop's Major Tastemaker. This article chronicles his story and talks about how major figures in hip hop like Peter Rosenberg are co-signing him. But at this point, it wouldn't be so bad. You know, he's making moves, but the evil eye would be like, nope. In October of 2017, BuzzFeed News dropped this bombshell investigative report that basically exposed how conservative media outlets like Breitbart News and conservative social media stars at the time like Milo Yiannopoulos helped smuggle white nationalism and alt-right ideologies into the mainstream. And this happened by means of collaborating and courting these extremists. BuzzFeed News would get their hands on a bunch of internal emails and documents that would prove this, and guess who gets caught in the crosshairs? Adam22. If you don't know who Milo Yiannopoulos is, I linked some resources below. The man most recently provided consulting services, I think, on Kanye's presidential campaign, or just to Kanye in general, which is unsurprising given Kanye's neo-Nazi arc. In internal emails obtained by BuzzFeed News, Adam22 was found in Milo's inbox with a tip suggesting that he investigate a journalist who had accused her ex of physical abuse. Adam22 would provide an apology and an explanation for this. I've linked the article below, but that wasn't enough for the evil eye. It just wouldn't leave him alone. In 2018, right when he signs a record deal with Atlantic Records, Pitchfork and the Daily Beast would both write investigative reports on Adam22, outlining allegations of misconduct, doxing, preying on underage girls, and physical abuse. He gets dropped by Atlantic Records. It's the allegations in both these articles that keep resurfacing when shit gets hot at No Jumper, like it did as a result of their Megan Thee Stallion coverage. I made a whole video on that, and like it did again in 2023 with the turmoil leading up to Cuckgate. Adam22 has two main accusers, a woman called Jane and a woman called D. A woman called Jane accused him of R in 2009. He says the whole thing was consensual. You can read more about their respective sides of the story in the Daily Beast article below. D's story, though, is the one that keeps haunting him the most. This is the one that people refer to on the internet as the pedo allegations. And this is the one that earned Adam the nickname Adam16, now also Cuck16. In a nutshell, I'm not going to go into detail. D was a 16-year-old girl that Adam met via the B9 message board sometime around 2006, when I believe Adam was like 22 years old at the time. She was in Canada. He was in the USA. They eventually met up in person in Vancouver when D came of age. Their stories about the trip to Vancouver are pretty similar, except for the part where D accuses Adam of R, and he claims the intercourse they had was consensual. So, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the law. So I'm a little confused about where the pedo allegations are supposed to come in. I don't know if it's because D also accused Adam of allegedly sharing pictures of her that were taken when she was underage and sharing those online, or if the pedo allegations are as a result of the alleged explicit phone conversation they had when she was underage. Okay, I would love for someone to help me out with that. So if you know the answer, let me know in the comments. Again, if you want to know their respective sides to the story, you can read the Daily Beast piece below. In the first quarter of 2023, right before Adam decided to let his wife Lena the Plug have with another man, No Jumper was experiencing what I could only describe as some internal turmoil, corporate dysfunction. Some defectors, like former cast member Lush, alleged that this was in part as a result of a company culture where drama would be instigated amongst cast members in the name of entertainment. And in January of 2023, this started creating some serious tension, offline and online. For example, we had the Flacco Lush incident where host Lush was asked to do a deep dive on co-host Flacco, in which they tried to expose the fact that he wasn't really born where he was born, which led, I'm not too sure how, to some kind of misunderstanding surrounding some kind of alleged pending civil lawsuit Flacco thought was against him. That almost ended up in a fight.
I'm minding my business, and niggas woke me up to shit yesterday with this shit. Again, but the where are you from conspiracies, cool, bro. But to put that smart on my last name, I can't tolerate that, bro. I can't let that go, Lush. Win, lose, or draw, Lush, I need that fade outside, yo.
Oh, shit.
Let's get it, bro.
Hold on.
We also had the house phone incident where Adam22 interviewed a trans woman who exposed one of his longtime friends and employees, this guy House Phone, for having allegedly had intercourse with her. That ended up in a confrontation on camera where Adam22 had a drink thrown at his face.
He's been going through the mom shit.
But you are you actually acting like I have some kind of disrespect for your mom when
You're
I fucking
disrespectful as
I paid for the
First of all-
funeral as soon
first
as
of
it
all-
happened, just because.
Oh, shit.
1.9 million views. Definitely excellent entertainment. But for corporate dynamics, probably not the best.
It seems like I'm worried about people calling me a bad friend for just not editing this and
bad
putting it out.
friend.
They're gonna be mad at me, but I'm just.
He's gonna be well.
And all of this came to a head in March of 2023 when No Jumper started to experience a mass exodus of talent, a mass defection, if you will. As I mentioned earlier in this video, Adam22 said in an interview that things really popped off for No Jumper financially in 2020. And he attributes a lot of that success to the new crop of talent he had recruited, especially guys like AD. But unfortunately, snakes would be hiding in the grass, and all of that would self-implode. Based on my research, there would be two main catalysts to the mass exodus, on top of the internal tensions already brewing. We have the Lush Discord incident, and we have the No Jumper debate bro arc reaching a boiling point, thanks to none other than alt-right hero Richard Spencer.
Africans have benefited from their experience with white supremacy, and we just have to look at the
Really? I'm just gonna leave that out there.
I'm filming this and it's literally midnight, okay? And I'm literally gonna have some coffee right now. I'm gonna smoke a big fat after this. Word on the street is that for a bunch of different reasons, there are many narratives surrounding this, but it's mostly speculation. Adam wasn't really feeling the dynamic with one of his very popular co-hosts, AD, anymore. Adam would go ahead and confide about his misgivings to one of his other employees called Lush. Lush would then go ahead and snake Adam by spilling the beans in a Discord server. Word would get back to AD. He feels backstabbed and betrayed. He's really not feeling it, and that fuels whatever other negative feelings had already festered between the both of them.
Nigga, my mama heard that shit too, nigga. That shit is foul as Adam. I'm gonna keep it gangster with you, bro.
Bro, the fact that I have so much love for you is why
If you had love for me like that, bro, you would have came to me like a man and said, AD, I ain't feeling your performance right now. Just step it up or we gonna replace you. Keep it gangster. Let your nuts hang.
We had that conversation.
We ain't never had that conversation, bro. You have never had that conversation with me.
Drama. Adam exposes Lush as being a snake. Drama. Fires him on air. Drama.
Lush, you lied to me.
What?
You lied to me, Lush.
About what?
What I just tried to talk to you about in the hall?
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, fool.
Yeah. And it looks funnier the more you laugh.
I didn't say nothing.
And then Lush would slip back into the bowels of addiction, but worry not, he'd eventually get his revenge. The other very important parallel arc that comes to a head in March of 2023 is No Jumper's attempt at dabbling in the debate bro space, which is where the alt-right shit comes creeping back in. Towards the end of 2022, leaning into the beginning of 2023, No Jumper started expanding beyond its regular content into what would be the meta at the time: provocative political content and debates. They would interview and have conversations with people like Nick Fuentes.
I don't support women's rights. I don't support LGBT rights. I believe in race and gender essentialism.
White nationalist, racist, Holocaust denier, Riza Islam, Nation of Islam conspiracy theorist, anti-LGBTQ+, anti-Semite.
But there are many people who have harmed people, not only in the Nation of Islam, but black people, period, in the way that they take advantage of them when it comes to their housing, when it comes to their business and their contracts.
Richard Spencer.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
Alt-right daddy, anti-black racist, anti-Semite, also one of the people responsible for organizing the 2017 white supremacist rally in Charlottesville. This is not to mention all the misogynist and manosphere people they've had on their platform outside of just the rappers. Sneeko, Fresh and Fit, Just Pearly Things, Dan Bilzerian.
What do you think women should do?
What do I think women should do?
In Pearl's opinion, what should women do?
Can you get me a sandwich?
Yeah, you want the bowl?
Yeah, can I have it?
Wait, actually? Yeah. Okay.
That's what they should do.
And there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to debate and interview these types of people. But if you want to get in on the political debate action and sit at the big boy table, you've got to be equipped with the big boy brains. Unfortunately, No Jumper wasn't really equipped with the kind of talent who had the education, data, debate skills, and knowledge to be able to provide a proper counterweight to these people. As a result, these losers were given one hell of a platform to spew their nonsense unchecked and win over new fans amongst an audience that's already vulnerable to falling into these kinds of pipelines in the first place. Adam22 was obviously aware of this.
But it's like, it's kind of weird. Like, damn, okay, did I just do my part to sort of like make being racist seem chill to people?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And this is perhaps what motivated his decision to start integrating Destiny into these conversations. But then No Jumper decided to bring anti-black racist white nationalist and alt-right daddy Richard Spencer on the show. And his mostly black staff was like, what the fuck?
I'm a little disappointed, Adam, though, because you have a mostly black staff. You feel what I'm saying? This No Jumper is built off of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And that's right, hip hop. Before you bring somebody over here, bro, nah, this your company. I ain't telling you what to do, but you gotta have more respect for your people, man, and the people that fuck with you and help make this platform better. I don't fuck with that shit.
Advocacy groups weren't feeling it either, and that brought about even more heat. In March of 2023, the progressive research center called Media Matters, which monitors, analyzes, and corrects right-wing misinformation, drops an investigative report that does the rounds on mainstream media called The No Jumper Podcast is Mainstreaming Neo-Nazis and Hate Figures to its audience of millions. Simultaneously, the pedo allegations resurface and start blowing up on social media. In March of 2023, this guy called Pedo Buster confronted Adam22 on D's story live on air. Adam22 is forced to defend himself against the allegations again.
You was 23, she was 16. You was on the phone with her for what? You should have known. Why am I talking to a 16-year-old girl? Why am I talking to a 16-year-old girl? Stop it, bro. We gotta get let out. You on the phone with a 16-year-old girl, bro. What are you talking about? Damn, pedophile.
Joe Budden tries to get to the bottom of it. And to cap it off, in June of 2023, right before the cuck scene, Lush would get his revenge. In June of 2023, Rolling Stone magazine would release another expose on Adam22 called, quote, The Coercive World of No Jumper's Adam22. He exploited me from day one. In the article, former employees, including Lush, who acts as one of the primary sources, alongside former female guests and employees, alleged that they were exploited by No Jumper / Adam22 and coerced into all kinds of shit. Adam denies everything and provided his own version of events / story to Rolling Stone. I've linked that down below as well. And of course, this article would resurface the D and Jane allegations. So basically, Q1 and Q2 for No Jumper was a bordello. It was a mess. And from what I counted, they lost 7 employees. House Phone, Potlord, Riley, Blasey, AD, Terrell, and Gina, as well as likely Adam's sanity. If this cycle continues, I honestly worry for Adam's health, okay? This poor man is gonna die of a cardiac arrest before he hits 50. And at what point as a father does one start to ask himself if it's all really worth it? This is why I truly think Cuckgate was a blessing in disguise. Hip-hop has brought Adam22 a lot of wonderful things, including a platform to be able to leverage to start a new business, okay? But if making the kind of content that generates the kind of numbers he wants to see in business A brings about this level of heat, I truly believe that the only way of breaking the cycle is to lean into the kind of business that instead of getting him murdered, okay, brings nothing but joy to the world by fulfilling the most universally held demand of all, the visceral human desire to nut.